नाम रे अनंत आनंद हरि नाम रे हरि गुण गावो हरि नाम गावो मनन जपन करो हरि नाम रे मनन जपन करो हरि नाम रे श्रवण स्मरण करो हरि नाम रे मनन जपन करो हरि नाम रे श्रवण स्मरण करो हरि नाम रे मनन जपन करो हरि नाम रे श्रवण स्मरण करो हरि नाम रे हरि ओम भजो रे सदा हरि ओम भजो रे सदा हरि ओम भजो रे सदा हरि गुण गावो हरि नाम गावो अनंत आनंद हरि नाम रे अनंत आनंद हरि नाम रे हरि गुण गावो हरि नाम गावो हरि गुण गावो हरि नाम गावो हरि नाम गावो हरि नाम
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च Humble prostrations to one and all. So in the last class, we were discussing about those people who have no faith in the scriptures, who live a perfectly worldly life. They are not even aware that such knowledge is available, such a spiritual knowledge is available. They are utter prayarthis. So what is the kind of lifestyle they lead? This is what we were discussing in the last class. So what is their condition? Avidyayam antare vartamanaha. The first and the foremost thing is avidya, ignorance. They have no idea about the right understanding about life. So in that avidya they live. They are living in the midst of avidya. And what is their opinion about themselves? Swayam dhīrāhā panditam manyamānāha. Highly egoistic, arrogant people. They consider themselves to be wise, to be learned, to be intelligent. They talk as though they have understood everything about life. They are the masters of life. They consider themselves to be successful, prosperous and happy. So such people, what is Shruti Mata's opinion about them? They are mūdhās, ignorant and foolish. And what happens to them? Dandramyamānaha pariyanti. So they follow all kinds of crooked ways in life. They follow all kinds of immoral, illegal activities. And then what happens to them? Pariyanti. Pariyanti means going round and round in this birth, death cycle. And they are the ones who pose as leaders, and the poor people, anyway they are blind. These people are also blind, so the blind leading the blind. This is what we will find in the society. Now these very same people are again discussed in the next verse also, verse number 6, page number 77. Na Samparāyaha pratibhāti bālam pramadyantam vittamohena mūdham ayam loko nasti para iti mani punah punarvashamapadyate me. Na Samparāyaha pratibhāti bālam pramadyantam vittamohena mūdham ayam loko nasti para iti mani punah punarvashamapadyate me. Yes. So these people, the Upanishad calls them bālam. They are childish, non-discriminating. They have no understanding about life. So they are like children. They are yet to grow. Their intellect is yet to grow. Bālam. For them, na Samparāyaha pratibhāti. The means to the other world, Samparāya. How to go to the other world? Now, other world can mean higher world or liberation. So, life after death, according to them, it doesn't exist. The means to the other world is not clear, pratibhāti. It doesn't reveal to them. They don't understand. Because they are non-discriminating, it is not very clear to them. Life after death, the other worlds, and therefore they don't put forth any effort in order to gain the higher world or moksha. Who are they? Pramadyantam. They are full of pramād. Pramād generally means forgetfulness, carelessness, laziness, non-seriousness. They are all the different terms for pramād. Pramadyantam. Sometimes ignorance also is called pramād. So these people who are ignorant ones, here Bhagavan Shankarācharya takes the meaning of attachment, the one who are totally attached, pramadyantam. So such people, vitta mohena mūdham, these people who are completely deluded, mūdham, because of what? Vitta mohena, because of attachment to this wealth. Deluded due to the attachment towards this wealth. So these are the terms used by the scriptures to indicate them. They are childish, non-discriminating, giving too much of value to wealth, fully attached to the world and the worldly relationships. And what is their opinion about life? I am loka. This world exists. This world alone is true. Na paraha. There is no other world. Iti mani. This is their understanding. So their understanding about the world is, this world alone is true, that which we see, there is no other world. Yamarāja says, such people punaha punaha me vasham apadyate. They again and again fall into my trap. They again and again come to my sway, come under my control. Meaning what? Again and again they die. Repeated birth-death cycle is mentioned here. So now, these people are called bālam, childish, non-discriminating, having no right understanding about life. So what is their understanding about life is mentioned here. I am lokaha, na paraha iti mani. This is their understanding. Now please understand, our life is a reflection of our understanding. How do we live our life? Our life will depend upon our understanding about life. Our understanding about life will give us the goal of life, will give us the direction in which we must channelize our energy, our time. Everything depends on understanding about life. That is why in Kathopanishad you will find again and again the term used is dhīrāhā, the wise man, the one who is having right understanding. Dhīrāhā mūdhāhā. This is the way the comparison goes. The one who has the right understanding, the one who doesn't have the right understanding. So emphasis is upon developing right understanding, because right understanding is everything in life. And that is why Satsanga is important, Jnana Yajñas are important, study of the scriptures are important. Why? Because it gives you the right understanding. All the mistakes that we commit in life, it is only because of lack of right understanding. So therefore the first correction that has to be done is understanding. Arjuna collapsed in front of battlefield, not because he did not have talents, abilities. He had everything. What did he lack? The thing which he lacked was right understanding. So this is the most important thing, right understanding. Once you have the right understanding, you are able to make decisions in life. You know what is right and wrong. You know where to invest your time, where to invest your energy. You know what should be the goal of life, in which direction you must strive. You know whether you are progressing in that direction or not. Everything you know only when you have the right understanding about life. So here, those who don't have this right understanding, they are called as bālam, because small children normally they don't have any understanding about life. So sometimes they are also called as bālam, childish. So what is their understanding? So this also we must know. What is their understanding? Why we must know this? So that we should not have this kind of understanding. Now, whatever is mentioned here, majority of the people will have this kind of understanding and this kind of lifestyle. So all these are mentioned here not to criticize them. Please understand, our goal is not to criticize these people, to look down upon them, to consider them inferior, to disrespect them. That is not the point. It is all for self-reformation. The question we have to ask is, do I belong to this category? What is mentioned here? If I belong to this category, then I must correct myself. So the purpose of criticism is not to find fault with others, but it is only to find fault with ourselves. So every time when we read these, we must look within and try to analyze our thinking patterns. So this has to be very clear. It is not to criticize others, it is only to correct ourselves. So these people. So whenever we say these people, know that we may also be there in this category. Yes. So these Balam, what is their understanding about life? I am loka. This is the only world which exists. Na asti paraha. There is no higher world. This alone is true. This alone is true means what? What I am perceiving through my sense organs, that alone is true. There is no other world. So all the scientists, the materialistic people, all of them fall under this category because they believe in only one thing, the sense perception. Whatever is seen alone is true. This is their understanding. So all those people will fall under this category. I am loka. This world is there because I am seeing it, I am perceiving it, so it is there. So whatever is perceived through the senses, that alone is true. Na paraha, there is no other world. You don't have to imagine that there is some other world. So nasti para also means there is nothing called moksha also. So we exist in this world, we are born in this world, we exist in this body, and when the body dies, everything is over. So this is their philosophy. So naturally, if this is your philosophy, what will be your lifestyle? So that is what is discussed here. Now for such a person, will there be sadhanas related to moksha? No. Why? Because they don't believe in moksha. When you don't believe in moksha, why should you perform sadhanas in order to gain moksha? Not possible. So all the spiritual practices are gone. All the religious activities are gone. You will not find any place for all these things in their life. So that's why it is said, na Samparāyaha pratibhāti. Samparāya means the other world. Samparāyaha. What is Samparāyaha? Samyak parak iyate iti Samparāyaha. The place we go after leaving the world. Parak iyate. Parak, after leaving the body. After leaving the body, where do we go? Parak. Parak iyate. After leaving the body, where do we go? That place is called Samparāya or Paraloka or Moksha also. So Samparāya means other world. So Samparāya means the means to go to the other world. Means sadhanas, the practices. All the practices which help us to go to the higher world or to attain moksha, that is called as Samparāyaha. So to these people, it is not clear pratibhati. They don't understand why all these things have to be done. Why? Because according to them, there is no other world. There is a beautiful story, imaginative story I found in some book. So here the story is about two babies in the womb of a mother. So they are twins. So they are in the womb, inside that womb. So now there is a discussion between these two babies. So the first baby asks the second one, do you think that there is any other world other than this world? This world of the womb. So both of them are sitting there. And now this discussion is happening. So the first one asked, do you think that there is any other world other than this world of the womb? So then the other fellow said, yes, I believe that there has to be some other world. The first one smiled and said, well, Anyway, as far as I am concerned, I don't believe in such world. But now that you say that there can be some other world, what is your imagination about that world? Then the second baby said, maybe that world has more light. Maybe that world has more freedom. This is what the second baby said. So maybe such a world exists other than this world. Then the first baby laughed and said, why do you have to think about the other world? You are not perceiving that world. The very fact that you are not able to see the other world shows that there is no world. Why should you imagine? Now, so according to the first baby, he said, I don't believe in such a world. Anyway, you believe that there is a world which has more light and more freedom, etc. The very fact that I don't see, therefore I don't believe. Then the first baby said, maybe when we come out of this world, you will see the other world. Maybe when we come out of this world of womb, you will see the other world. Then the first one said, ha! You think we will come out of this world? Everywhere there is covering. How will we ever come out of this world? I don't see any opening in this world by which we will come out. Then the second baby said, maybe when we are prepared to leave this world, maybe some opening may come and we will exit from this world and enter into the other world. The first one said, you are unnecessarily imagining. You are in your own world of dreams, imagination. Okay, let us assume that we come out of this world and enter into the new world. Now, my dear, my question is, in this world, we are nourished by this umbilical cord. If we are going out, now this cord is very small, so definitely this cord cannot support us. So this cord has to be cut. So if in case we come out of this world, who will nourish us? How will we get the nourishment? How will we exist? Then the second baby said, maybe once we come out of this world, maybe that this umbilical cord is not needed. Maybe some organ may become functional in our body, and thus maybe that we may get nourishment from such an inlet. Maybe the rules are different in the outer world. It's possible that umbilical cord is no more needed and some organ will open up and then we get that nourishment. Now this fellow again laughed. Ha ha ha! You have such wonderful imagination. Okay, let us assume that there is some inlet, some sense organ which opens up. But who will feed us? Then this child said, maybe when we come out, we will see our mother and she will take care of us. The first baby laughed. You believe that there is a mother? This is the heights of foolishness. You think there is some mother who is taking care of us? My dear, let me make it very clear to you. We are nourished by this umbilical cord, not by some mother. Very clearly you can see the cause and effect. Why do you want to unnecessarily believe in an entity called mother? Thus, this first baby made his points very clear. See, the truth of life is there is no other world other than this world of womb. This is the only world. Number 2, no existence is possible other than existing in this world. Number 3, no nourishment is possible other than getting nourishment from this umbilical cord. And number 4, there is nothing called mother to support us. This is a very interesting story because all of us, we know the truth. But inside the womb, how these babies imagine. Of course, this is an imaginative story, but this story is very well applicable to us also. We are also in a womb. This is also a womb of the world. So this child's argument is, how can you say there is a mother? Because she never came and contacted us. So the very fact that mother has never contacted us inside this womb shows that there is no mother. This is argument. In the same way, we also argue, where is God? If God is there, we should be able to see Him, etc., etc. So therefore, just like that baby, that foolish baby, that first baby, in the same way, we also say, there is no world. This world alone is the ultimate truth, and there is no world hereafter. So naturally, for a person who doesn't believe in such a world, now you cannot argue with him. Suppose you say, no, there is a world. Then he will say, did you see it? How are you so sure about it? Did you see it? Then you have to say, no, scripture says it. You leave your scriptures. You tell what you have experienced. This is what will happen. So you cannot argue with them. You cannot make them understand, because swayam dhīrāhā panditam manyamānaha. It's very difficult to argue with an egoistic person because he is not interested in knowledge, he is interested in the victory of his own ego. An egoistic person argues only to win, not to know. So it's very difficult to make things clear to such a person. So it is always better. Dustarkat suviramyatam, Bhagavan Shankarācharya says. Withdraw whenever there is a dustarka. Whenever there is a discussion which is turning into an argument where the ultimate goal is to win the argument and not to gain knowledge, whenever you find in the company of such people, the best thing is to withdraw. Otherwise, discussion is a wonderful thing, your knowledge is enhanced, but when you find yourself amidst people who are not interested in knowing, who are interested in only in showing off their knowledge, so Bhagavan Shankarācharya's advice is dustarkat suviramyatam, withdraw from such gatherings. It is not Satsanga, it is dussanga only. So such people who have no faith in the Guru, in the Shastras, in the teachers, have no faith in the scriptures, naturally they will have no means to know things. They depend only on science and scientific inventions and discoveries, etc. As far as such people are concerned, they don't have the Shāstra pramānam, they don't have the means to know about the higher worlds. What is the means to know color? The means to know the pramānam is eyes. A person who doesn't have eyes, you cannot prove that person that the color of this object is red. You cannot prove, because it is not the question of proving, it is the question of applying the right means of knowledge. So just like you cannot prove a color to a blind person, a person who has no faith in the scriptures, you cannot prove the existence of the other world. These are all the things which are known based on Shastra pramāna. The means to know is Shastra, scriptures. There is no other way to know. So such a person, depending only upon his senses and his little intellect, na Samparāyaha pratibhāti. such a person will never be able to understand the other world or the means to the other world. Now, such a person, how will he live his life? So here it is said, pramādyantam vittamohena mūdham. So you will see pramāda in his life. Pramāda. So what is pramāda? Bhagavan Shankarācharya says, putra pashu adi prayojaneshu asakta manasam. The mind is fully asakta, attached to what? Putra pashu adi prayojaneshu. So such a person is attached to putra, a family life, pashu, wealth. So he is fully attached to his near and dear ones. His life is totally engrossed in a family life environment. So what happens when you are totally attached, totally engrossed in such kind of environment? Now the mind is not available for anything else. Now since your happiness comes from family, your highest priority is only family. So naturally now you have to support the family. So what should be your highest goal in life? Vittamohena mūdham. So vittam is important, wealth is important. The most important thing in this world is wealth, because in order to support everything, in order to support the near and dear ones in our family, wealth is the most important thing. So therefore such a person will have only one goal in mind, and that is how to make more and more money. Vittamohena mūdham. Deluded by the intense desire for wealth. Now what is being criticized here? We have to understand, worldly life is not criticized. What is criticized here is this person has no priority as far as spirituality is concerned. Worldly life should be a means, spiritual gain should be the goal. That doesn't happen here. Pramādyantam. There is complete non-forgetfulness. In front of his eyes, he is seeing people dying. Now why this term pramāda is used, you must understand. He is seeing people dying. Every day somebody or the other dies. He sees it and he knows what is death. Such a person is never going to come back. He has to leave everything here. He is separated from his near and dear ones. He is separated from his hard-earned wealth. These things he clearly sees. And there is so much of suffering, pain because of this separation. And he knows that just like that person has died, after a few years, I will also die. So in spite of seeing pashyannapi cha na pashyati mūdhāhā, even though he sees, he doesn't see. Now this is called pramāda. He knows that a day will come when I will have to leave everything, but I am totally investing my life, my energy, my everything into this, that which is perishable. A day will come when I will have to leave everything. In spite of knowing all this, yadyapi loke maranam sharanam tadapi na munchati pāpācharanam. Even though we know that final truth is death, in spite of that, we are not able to withdraw from these worldly activities. Now, this is called as pramāda. Non-seriousness about life. What will be the thinking of a serious person? Kastvam koham kuta āyātah kāme janani kome tātah. So these questions must come. How did I come to this world? Where will I go after death? What is the purpose of life? Why this drama of life? Is there some higher goal to be achieved? This is the way a wise person will think. But what about this person? Absolute non-seriousness. Pramādyantam. There is only one thing which is serious for him: how to earn money through crooked means. This is the way his mind works all the time. So such a person, what does Yamarāja say? Punaha punaha vasham apadyate me. They again and again come to me. So they are again born, they die, again go back to some inferior worlds, suffer there, come back, suffer here, go back, suffer there, come back, suffer here. Punaha punaha they come under my sway. In Bhāgavatam there is a wonderful mention. So there it is said, people who listen to the satsang and seriously they are engrossed in it. So Yamarāja says, I have no control over them because they are controlled by the Lord. As far as they are concerned, so he instructs the yamadūtās. So all those people who are sitting there, leave them. I don't have any control. Here it is just the opposite. Yamarāja says, these people, they come under my control again and again. And then Bhagavan Shankarācharya mentions, prāyena evam vidhaha hi lokaha. Generally, you will find only this kind of people everywhere. Majority of the people, they fall under this category. Absolute non-seriousness towards spirituality. It is only yoga kshema, that's it. They have no time for spiritual pursuits at all. This is what you will find everywhere in this world. So therefore, those people who are seekers of truth, they are glorified in the next verse, a very famous verse. Verse number 7, page number 79. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah Shrinvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhāh Ascharyo nyāta kusalanushishtaha Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah Shrinvantopi bahavoyam na vidyuhu Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhāh Ascharyo nyāta kusalanushishtaha. So what is said here? Shravanayapi bahubhihi yah na labhyah. So the rarity of this knowledge, the spiritual knowledge is mentioned here. Even to listen to this knowledge, bahubhihi na labhyah, it is not available. Very many people, they don't even know that such a knowledge is there. And among those who hear, Shrinvanto api bahavaha yamna vidyuhu. And there is another category of people, they get by God's grace, some punya they have done, they get an opportunity to listen, but even though they listen, they don't understand what is happening there. Yamna vidyuhu. In spite of listening, they don't understand. So therefore, Ascharya Vakta, the one who speaks about it, it's a wonder to see such a person. Kushalaha asya labdha, and those who are listeners, who have grasped what is being taught, indeed he must be kushalaha, proficient. Ascharyo nyata, it's a wonder to see a person who has gained this knowledge. Kushala anushishtaha, taught by a proficient teacher. So in short, it's a wonder to see a teacher and a student of this knowledge. Indeed, if they have gained the knowledge, then they must be proficient. If the student has gained the knowledge, he must be proficient. If the teacher is capable of giving this knowledge, definitely that teacher also must be proficient. So it is indeed rare to see a proficient teacher and a proficient student. So this is the glory of this knowledge. rarity of this knowledge. So what is said here? Shravanayapi bahubhi yona labhyah. The first line is this. Even to listen to this knowledge, it is not available for majority. Nalabhyah, not available. Nowadays we have this internet and all this YouTube, etc. Everything is available for everyone. It is a blessing of technology, no doubt. So you may say, Shravanayapi bahubhi nan labhyah. This appears to be a wrong statement in today's times. It is available for everybody. How can you say it is not available? Once upon a time, yes, this knowledge was not available, we can understand. But today it is available for everyone. It is available, but the point is, how many of us know that there is such a knowledge? It is there in YouTube, but there are majority of the people, they have no idea what it is. Even if by mistake they happen to hear, what will happen to them? Shrinvantopi bahavo yamna vidyuh. This is what will happen to them. They may listen for some time, but they are not going to understand. Why they will not understand? So Bhagavan Shankarācharya says, abhāginaha asamskritātmanaha na vijāniyuh. Unless the mind is prepared, purified, refined, you are not going to gain it. You may listen to it. So, this knowledge is rare. Why is this knowledge rare? Now here also we have to use the same law. Demand and supply, they go together. Greater demand means greater supply. This is the law here also. So why is this knowledge rare in supply? This knowledge is rare in supply because this knowledge is rare in demand. Why is this knowledge not much in demand? This knowledge is not much in demand because even when we listen, we don't understand what it is. Shrinvantopi bahavo yamna vidyuh. This is the reason why this knowledge has no demand. Why is it that people, in spite of listening, they are not able to understand? It is because their mind is not prepared. That means this knowledge is not meant for everyone. You can never make this knowledge popular. It is impossible. It is impossible. You cannot make this knowledge popular like some movie or some TV serial, some shows, etc. It is just not possible. Why? Abhaginaha, Bhagavan Shankarācharya says, abhaginaha, unfortunate ones. Those who have done lot of papa karmas, the mind is impure, the mind is filled with raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, ahankara, mamakara, etc. Such an impure mind, asamskritātmana. They have not done samskara of the mind. They are prakritātmana. The mind is unrefined, uncultured, unevolved people. Even if they listen, they will not get anything. That's why Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatate siddhaye yatatāmapi siddhānam kaschinmāveti tattvataha. Among thousands, very few are the people who strive for this knowledge. Even among those who strive, very, very rare few reach me, Bhagavan says. The same idea is mentioned here also. Very rare few come to satsang. But even though there are so many people sitting in satsang, don't think that everyone is able to understand what is being said. There are many people who sit because they have nothing else to do. Such people are there. And these people will be absent the moment some guest comes to their house. Swamiji, today I will not attend the satsang because some guests have come. Are, why don't you bring the guest also for satsang? No, Swamiji. So that itself shows that is important. More than satsang, guests are important. So they skip satsang. So you will find all kinds of people, even those who attend satsang, only rare few understand the essential message of what is spoken. Even among those who have understood it, still further, there are only rare people who put it into practice. Now see how the filtering is happening. Among very many people, very few attend to satsang. Even among those who attend satsang, very few understand what is being told. Even among those who understand what is being told, very few put it into practice. They try to reform the self through this knowledge. They try to live it. They try to correct themselves. Such people are very rare. And you come to know. Sometimes when you go to some house, somebody will say, Swamiji, my Amma, she is attending satsang from such a long time, 20, 30 years she is attending satsang, but still she is irritable in nature. She is always miserable and crying and weeping, complaining. Swamiji, what is the use of all this satsang? See. Now you see this? 20, 30 years this Amma is attending all this and nothing has happened. Padma patramiva ambhasa, unaffected. Like the lotus petal. She is there in the satsang, but nothing is happening. So such kind of people also we see. But sometimes when we go to some other's house, they say, Swamiji, satsang has been so useful, such a big change has come in my life. What I was and what I am, there is such a big change. It's all because of this satsang, because of these talks. So they profusely thank with gratitude. Now see the difference. They are the people who are mentioned here. So people who have really seen change in their life, they clearly see their progress of in spirituality. So here, Yamarāja glorifies them. So they are the people who have really benefited from this knowledge, the jñātās. So here, Yamarāja glorifies both the teacher and the taught. Āścharyo vakta kushalosya labdhāha, āścharyo jñāta kushalānuṣishtaha. It's a great wonder to see a teacher of Brahma Vidya. Now why is it so rare? Now wonder means what? It is rare. So here that's what we have to understand. It's a wonder to see a teacher means it's very rare to see such a teacher. Āścharyo vakta. So it is very rare to see a proficient, knowledgeable teacher. Now why is it rare? So as far as a teacher is concerned, there are two qualifications necessary. Number one, he must be a knower of truth. He must have his own direct experience. This is very important. Spirituality is not some intellectual knowledge. Spirituality is a knowledge where you have experienced whatever has been promised by the scriptures. Tarati shokam atmavita, it is said. The one who knows this truth, he is beyond sorrow. No, it is not something to be chanted, it is something to be known. So what is the proof that I am progressing in spirituality? I must experience all the phalashrutis mentioned in the scriptures. Freedom from disturbance of the mind, peace, tranquility, fulfillment, contentment, connectivity with the divine. These are all the things which we must experience. Only then we can say we are progressing in spirituality. So, a teacher should be the one who has, number one, a direct experience about the reality. He should be a Brahmanistha, a person who abides in the ultimate truth in Brahman, Brahmanistha. So this is the first qualification. The second one is, not only that he must have direct experience, he must also know how to communicate it to the students. He must be a teacher also. See, he must be a knower and he must be a teacher. The ability to teach must be there. So that's called a Shrotriya. So in order to teach, he must have the knowledge of the scriptures, the style, the methodology followed by the scriptures, in which this, what you call, indescribable thing is described. This self is such a subtle thing. It is not something which can be perceived through the senses. It is not something which can be grasped by the mind or the intellect. So it's a very, very subtle thing. So a special method has to be used to communicate this knowledge. Words fail to describe it, and it is something which has no properties at all. It is very easy to describe something which has properties. It is very easy to describe something which we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, etc. But it's very difficult to describe something, communicate something, make another person understand the existence of something which we cannot perceive, which we cannot understand, which we cannot intellectually grasp. So such a propertyless thing, if he has to communicate, then a special technique, the technique used by the scriptures, it has to be used. So therefore that person who has experienced the reality and who has been trained by his guru in the scriptures, he has a proper guru parampara from where he has gained this knowledge through the guru. Only such a person can communicate this knowledge efficiently. So two things are necessary. Number one, he should be the knower of truth, Brahmanishta. He should also be a knower of the scriptural style of teaching. So he must be a knower, he must be a teacher. Now this combination is very difficult, very rare. In this world we find jnanis who cannot be teachers, and also we find teachers who are not jnanis. This we find. But the person who has both, it is Āścarya, it is a wonder, it's rare. So as far as Bhakta is concerned, it is rare. But what about the students? Āścarya Jnata, it is said. Even to see a qualified student is rare. Why is it rare? Because you will find in the society, cultured people are always rare. Tamasic people are the maximum. Rajasic people, the medium. Sattvic people are very, very less. It is always true. It's always true in every field. So a person who has a qualified mind, a purified mind, a refined mind in the society, will always find such people are rare. So Āścarya, a student who is rich in Sādhanā Chatushtaya Sampatti, Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam, to have a student who has these qualifications, very rare. A student who has Vairagya, very rare. Who has developed Viveka, very rare. Who has control over the mind and the senses, very rare. Āścarya, indeed it is Āścarya. Our senses show the glitz and glamour of the world, the attractions of the world. Now if there is a person who withdraws, he doesn't show any interest in that world, and he withdraws and he shows interest in scriptures, it is very rare. That is something seen, this is something unseen, but he has interest in the unseen, very rare. That is easily understandable, this is difficult to understand, still he is interested in this, very rare. Āścarya. And here is a student who leaves the external world, the seen world. Very many people, they give up their power, position, wealth, everything, and then they become renunciate and they pursue this knowledge single-pointedly, keeping this knowledge as the highest priority in life. Indeed, such students are very rare, very rare. Majority of the people are following the path of prayers. Say if 99 people are following the path of prayers, only one person follows the path of Shreyas. Now just imagine how much courage he must need, how much clarity of thinking he must need in order to follow the opposite direction when the majority of the people are going in one direction. The general tendency in us is to follow the majority. Whatever majority are doing, if I am doing it, then I am at peace. Yes, I am in the right direction. But here is a person who takes an opposite direction. It needs a lot of courage. There is so much of resistance, it is like swimming against the flow of river. It's very difficult. That's why it is said, Ascharyaha, it's a wonder. It's a wonder. Very many times people ask, what do you get in these spiritual classes? After studying, after doing that course, will you get some certificate? Or will you get some job? If you are not going to get anything, why are you wasting your time in all these spiritual studies? This is what people are. They are not able to understand what you are going to get through all this. So therefore, indeed, if a person has chosen this as the highest goal of life, and if a person is sincerely pursuing this path, it is indeed a wonder. So therefore, all those people who are listening to these kinds of satsangs, talks, etc., and who are seriously pursuing this path, we must say, we are all indeed blessed. Bhagavan's grace and blessings come in this way, because he is the one who is seated in the heart. So if he is creating that inspiration to study these scriptures, to gain more and more knowledge about these scriptures, if we have kept this as the highest goal in life, indeed we can say we are the most blessed ones in this mankind. It's not easy. Not easy. Very, very, very difficult. Ascharyo vakta, kushalosya labdha, ascharyo jnata, kushala anushishtaha. Now the next verse is about the qualification of the teacher. That is also important. So that topic we will see in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.